Have you ever tried to apply false tan at home and it just goes streaky? And you'll get white patches here and you get some darker patches there. I'm here to help you to get that flawless fake tan look at home. I've worked in the beauty industry for over 25 years. I've owned a salon for over 25 years. And I've probably been applying false tan for as long as that. I'm quite pale with freckles, so a little bit of false tan gives me a little bit of a glow, especially in summer, so that I don't have to wear pantyhose or tights. It gives my legs a little bit of colour. And in the winter, maybe for the party season, I can get away a little bit more with strapless tops and off-the-shoulder dresses. Hi, I'm Karen. I help women embrace the 50s with style and confidence. The key to applying flawless fake tan at home is the foundation. It's the preparation. I liken it to a decorator, painter and decorator. If they go straight in to paint a wall that they haven't prepared properly, then the finish will be lumpy, bumpy, streaky, patchy. It's the same with false tan. So the key is to prep your skin beforehand. Firstly, if you need to do any hair removal, any shaving, get that done the day before you apply the false tan. The next key is exfoliation. I will do this a couple of days before I apply the actual false tan. So we want to exfoliate the whole body and pay particular attention to the drier areas like the feet, the knees, the elbows. I just use a loofah when I'm in the shower, but I will exfoliate the whole body. As I said, paying particular attention to those drier areas. Also, beforehand for a couple of days, I will make sure that I moisturise my whole body quite thoroughly. The better the base is, the better the skin condition is before you apply the false tan, the better the false tan will go on. If you have open pores and you apply false tan to your face, it can look really odd and spotty and patchy. So what I will do, the few hours before I apply a false tan to my face, I will put a clay mask onto my face, and that tends to reduce, it shrinks the pores a little bit, tightens them up so that the false tan can't get into the pores when you do apply it. The next thing that we need to do is clean the skin just before we apply the false tan. If you can imagine, we have the skin, and if there is a layer of moisturiser or oil or something on the skin, and then we apply the false tan on top of that, the false tan is not going to be able to penetrate into the skin. So that's when you're going to get a patchy, streaky look. So we need to make sure that the skin, the whole body, is clean before we apply the false tan. So the easiest way to do that is to shower. Just make sure there's no oil, no moisturiser, no antiperspirant, no makeup, no perfume, anything on the skin before you actually apply the false tan. So the false tan might be one of those creams that develops over time, or it might be an actual mousse that has got the tan colour in already. And I think the best way to apply the false tan is with a false tan mitt. You do have to be careful when you're applying false tan, because if you don't use maybe plastic gloves or the mitt, it can get on your hands and you'll have lovely brown palms and streaky hands. So you can either wear gloves that often come with the false tan itself when you buy it from the shop, or you can use the mitt. I find that the mitt gives more of an even colour. So what I will do is, if it's a mousse or the false tan cream, I will apply it onto the mitt itself, and then I will apply it to the skin. What I do is I apply to the larger areas first. I will avoid the feet, the knees, the elbows to start with. So I will apply it to the calves, the thighs, the torso and my arms. And then when I've rubbed all of the false tan into that area and make sure there's no white patches, white areas, Then I will use the residue from the mitt without applying any more false tan onto it. And then I will gently go over the elbows and the feet and the knees. It's these areas that tend to get dry and tend to grab onto the false tan. So if you've not exfoliated these areas properly, the knees, the elbows, the feet, and then you do apply the same amount of false tan as you apply everywhere else, then it can look a lot darker, and that just looks a little bit silly. So we've applied the false tan evenly all over the body, and we've used the residue from the mitt or the glove to go over the knees, the feet and the elbows. The next thing that we need to do is to let the false tan dry. I will normally let it dry for about 5 minutes. And in that time, you can just check that you've not left any white patches anywhere, that you've covered the whole body. The next thing that I do, I will get a tissue and I will wipe my nails, each nail, fingernails and toenails, because false tan can tend to grab around your cuticle area, and you don't want false tan brown rings around your fingernails and your toenails. So just get a tissue and wipe around your fingers and your toenails. Also, if you haven't used gloves or a mitt, just check that there's no false tan residue in between your fingers as well. So I will get the tissue and I will just wipe in between my fingers to make sure that there's no false tan clinging onto that area as well. The last thing I do is I will just pop a dressing gown on. I don't tend to put a bra on afterwards, or shoes or socks or anything like that, because any area that is rubbing against the skin can just rub that false tan off. So I will just put a dressing gown straight on and leave that on. Lots of the false tans are 3 or 4 hour development times. So it's okay, you can, of an evening, you can keep your dressing gown on and you can watch your TV or whatever you do. And then after the 3 or 4 hours, you can have a shower, and then the false tan will develop nicely after that. If it's an overnight false tan, then you've got to be careful because it can tend to stain your bed sheets. There's not really much you can do about that unless you've got darker bed sheets and you won't see the stains. Maybe you could lie on a towel or put an extra cover up between you and the duvet to make sure that your actual sheets don't get stained. So that's how I apply false tan, so as not to get streaks and white patches and brown patches. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. If not, good luck with your tanning.